What truly happened during the 18 missing years of Jesus? This question is like a mysterious doorway, drawing in anyone who dares to touch it. That gap in his life is not merely a silence of history, but a grand secret that has challenged human curiosity for thousands of years. When the Bible recounts Jesus at age 12, debating with the teachers of the law in the Temple of Jerusalem, and then suddenly falls silent until he reappears at age 30, countless theories have arisen. For those long 18 years, where did he go? What did he do? What did he learn? And most intriguingly, did he truly perform miracles beyond imagination? Some scholars suggest that this was the period when Jesus left the land of Judea. Ancient texts, believed to originate from India or Tibet, describe a Western man, distinct in appearance, who came from a faraway land and was welcomed by spiritual masters. He was given a strange yet reverent name, Isa. According to these accounts, this man studied law, philosophy, and healing practices preserved in the East for thousands of years. If this theory is true, then Jesus might have encountered a treasure trove of human wisdom beyond the borders of Judaism, transforming it into the foundation of the miracles he later performed. Yet, a veil of mystery still hangs over it all. No concrete evidence proves that Jesus was truly there. Why? Then, do such stories exist, and why have they endured for centuries? Could it be that part of the truth has been hidden? Or are these simply myths created to fill a void in history? People begin to wonder if Jesus really practiced healing skills, if he learned to master breath, energy, or the mind through Eastern traditions. Were his later miracles truly supernatural, or were they the application of ancient knowledge that humanity has long forgotten? This thought does not diminish the wonder of his life. On the contrary, it makes the story even more mysterious and captivating. What makes this question so compelling is the Bible's complete silence. Why would the Bible, a text so detailed about the smallest events in Jesus' life, leave this period completely blank? Was the truth too difficult for the people of that time to accept? Or was it a sacred journey meant only for the chosen one, never to be revealed? This silence has given rise to endless debates. People do not only wonder where Jesus was, but also whether, during this time, he performed acts so astonishing that witnesses were left speechless. Did he heal the sick for the first time in distant lands? Did he leave traces of his presence in other cultures, only to disappear before anyone could record his name? The mystery grows even more haunting when we consider the preparation for his great mission. A man who appeared and, within only a few short years, shook the entire world must have lived a hidden life of preparation. That strength was not only physical, but spiritual, a deep understanding of humanity, and above all, a profound connection with God. Those 18 silent years may have been the time of transformation, the forge of a heavenly messenger. The question, did Jesus truly perform miracles during the 18 missing years, is not merely a quest to find supernatural wonders, but a journey to understand his true nature. If a miracle is not only turning water into wine or raising the dead, but also enlightenment, the power to heal hearts and transform souls, then those years were the foundation of everything that followed. And it is precisely the lack of a clear answer that keeps us enthralled today. That mystery is like a sacred void, compelling us to imagine, to question, and to yearn for truth. But perhaps that truth remains hidden, waiting for another time to be revealed. And when that moment comes, the world may be forced to look at the life of the Savior through an entirely different lens. There is something that makes the mystery of Jesus' 18 missing years even more captivating. Scattered fragments found in ancient writings and folk traditions, as if inviting us to piece together an unfinished picture. Some say that in Egypt, there were traces of a wise stranger who appeared among ascetic communities in the desert, teaching truths that went far beyond the knowledge of that time. In certain Indian texts, a Western master was described as having studied meditation, medicine, and philosophy under local monks. If these stories were merely inventions, why do they appear with such striking similarities across different cultures? Perhaps Jesus, during his missing years, truly traveled through many lands, leaving behind faint memories in each place he visited. And if that were the case, could it be that his very first miracles did not occur at the wedding in Cana, but in distant lands, witnessed by people who had no idea they were seeing the dawn of a journey that would transform humanity? What is even more intriguing is that many researchers believe these anonymous miracles during that time may not have looked as supernatural as we usually imagine. They might have been acts of healing through unusual methods, or helping people overcome suffering through profound empathy. To those who witnessed such acts, they were nothing less than miraculous. But to Jesus, perhaps they were simply the natural result of a perfect connection between man and God. And this is where the mystery grows deeper. If what we call miracles were in fact knowledge, spiritual training, and inner mastery taken to the highest level, then those 18 years transformed him into someone completely unlike anyone else in the world. The story is no longer just about religion, it becomes a question about the hidden potential within every human being. Imagine if, today, even a part of the truth about this period were uncovered. Not only believers, but scientists and philosophers would be forced to rethink history entirely. And that is why this subject has never lost its fascination. What do you think about these strange accounts? Could it be that Jesus really traveled across distant lands, quietly planting seeds of hidden miracles? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might just open a new way of interpreting this mystery. And don't forget to hit the like button if you believe the story deserves to be known by more people. If the theories suggesting that Jesus traveled to India, Tibet, or Egypt carry the weight of legend, then there is another possibility, one that is far closer to home and perhaps even more unsettling. What if Jesus never left Judea at all? What if the missing 18 years were not spent in distant lands, but rather in quiet obscurity, hidden in plain sight among the people of his homeland? Some scholars suggest that this period may have been a time when Jesus lived as an ordinary man, working as a carpenter, interacting with neighbors, observing human struggles, and, most importantly, learning to deeply understand the lives of everyday people. If this is true, then the mystery is not about where he went, but about how he lived. It would mean that the hidden years were not years of physical travel, but years of inner transformation, years in which he developed wisdom, compassion, and an unshakable connection with the human condition. These qualities might have been the true foundation of his later miracles. For perhaps the miracles of Jesus were not sudden bursts of divine power, but rather the flowering of a heart that had already united itself with humanity's pain and hope. But here comes an unexpected twist. Some little-known ancient writings hint that Jesus may indeed have performed acts of healing during those silent years, acts that never reached the public eye, but were whispered about by those who witnessed them. These were not grand public spectacles, but quiet, almost hidden moments. A sick man suddenly recovered after meeting him. A desperate soul found new strength after speaking with him. A struggling family was mysteriously lifted from despair. Each incident, on its own, may have seemed like nothing more than coincidence. Yet, for those who encountered him, they were unforgettable moments that felt like miracles. This raises an important reflection. Must a miracle always be something that shakes the heavens and earth? Or could it be something far simpler, an act of compassion that changes a life in ways that words cannot fully explain? If Jesus spent 18 years planting these small seeds of hope, Then perhaps it was these seeds that blossomed into the great harvest of miracles during his public ministry. Imagine being one of those ordinary villagers, living side by side with him. You might never have guessed that the quiet young carpenter who repaired your home or offered a word of encouragement would one day be known as the savior of the world. But when he finally appeared in public, preaching and healing openly, perhaps some villagers recognized him and thought, "Isn't this the very man who once lifted me out of despair?" Such a realization would not only be shocking, it would be deeply personal. The stories are scattered, fragmented, and uncertain. Yet instead of weakening the mystery, they make it more vivid. For if Jesus had lived quietly among his people, then the secret of those 18 years is not some distant, unreachable tale. It becomes real, grounded in the rhythms of daily life, rooted in the struggles and triumphs of ordinary men and women. That possibility is astonishing in itself. The idea that miracles were already unfolding, not through cosmic displays of power, but in the humble and noticed moments of everyday existence. And this realization forces us to see the missing years in a new light. They may not have been missing at all. They may have been years of silent preparation, years of hidden compassion, years of subtle miracles that were not written down because they belonged not to history, but to the hearts of those who experienced them. These hearts carried their memories quietly until the day Jesus revealed himself to the world. The closer we look into this mystery, the clearer it becomes that the 18 years were not an empty silence. They may have been the most important part of his life, the part that explains why, when he finally stepped into the public eye, he carried such extraordinary authority, such deep understanding, and such a divine presence unlike anything the world had ever seen. Perhaps what makes the mystery of Jesus' 18 missing years one of the most captivating stories in history is this. We may never have a complete answer. All we have are fragments, scattered pieces of ancient writings, faint oral traditions, and vague hints blurred by time. Yet it is precisely this silence that has given rise to endless interpretations, inviting every generation to ask again, what truly happened during those years? Some believe he traveled to distant lands, seeking wisdom beyond borders, leaving behind quiet miracles along the way. Others believe he never left his homeland, but lived humbly among his people, learning to understand humanity in the deepest way, preparing for a sacred mission. And there are those who believe that the greatest miracles were not supernatural displays at all, but inner transformations, moments of awakening, healing, and love. This ambiguity has turned the 18 hidden years into a sacred void, a place where faith and imagination intersect. No matter which theory you lean toward, one truth remains undeniable. When Jesus reappeared, he carried extraordinary strength, profound wisdom, and a heart that touched every soul he encountered. Those years may well have been the foundation of everything the world would later witness. And perhaps the greatest miracle was not the dramatic events recorded in the Bible, but the quiet preparation itself. Out of silence, out of those vanished years, Jesus emerged ready to transform the world and leave a mark that time itself could not erase. The mystery still remains, like a door never fully closed. We may never uncover the final answer, yet it is this very uncertainty that keeps the story alive, inviting us to explore, to wonder, and to believe in the extraordinary power of faith and love. If you found this journey into mystery fascinating, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, so we can continue exploring together the greatest enigmas of history. The answers may never be absolute, but every step we take will open new perspectives full of surprise, depth, and inspiration.